Hi everyone, today I'm fishing one of those creeks that's so small that you look at it and think, yeah, there are fish in there, but is that even worth fishing? This is just a little creek with a lot of overhanging vegetation over it. I'm in New Mexico and I've come here to catch Rio Grande cutthroat trout. This is a species I've caught once before in Colorado, but I would like to catch it in New Mexico also. It is native to this area and to New Mexico. I like catching native trout in their native states, so I'm gonna fish this little kind of miserable creek trying to see if I can catch some. I passed by one what I would consider fishable pool so far as I've just been walking up the creek, and there were fish in it. There were like 3 or 4 little trout in there, so I think the game plan is to just walk up this creek and try to find those slightly bigger, deeper pools and just fish those, but I don't know. Guess we'll see. I have the Dragontail FoxFire rod with a 7-foot line on it. I would put a 5-foot line on it, but I don't have that with me. I think that's in the car. I think I left that in the car. I don't really want to go back for it. So I have a 7-foot line on here. It's a little bit long for this situation, unless the creek opens up higher up, which it might. I think it's a little bit too long for this. I'd like a 5-foot line, and so I might end up just cutting this one down to be 5 feet. I always have several lines on me, and I can always cut them down. That's the great thing about level line. You can cut it to suit your purpose. Are there fish in there? Something like this looks decent, but most of the creek is, I mean, this is just super small and shallow. And this will be predominantly bow and arrow casting today, which is where you basically you point your rod where you want it to go, grab the line or the fly, and let go. Just because there's so much overhanging vegetation here, traditional casting isn't possible. This doesn't look bad. It's actually kind of open here, relatively. No interest. These will be my first fish in New Mexico, by the way, if I do end up catching something. So that's exciting. This looks pretty darn good. Come on. Nothing. Onward and upward. Maybe I need to be more stealthy, which is a little bit of a problem because I'm just a lazy fisherman. I don't like crawling on my hands and knees to a spot. You get the most accurate bow and arrow casts when you're able to hold the fly back. But sometimes, depending on the rod and line length and the line versus rod length, that's not possible. You need to grab the line, like either where the line and the tippet meet or somewhere on the tippet. But here I can grab the fly itself, which is good. That's one of the benefits of a zoom rod. You can adjust the size, the length of the rod, of course. Tricky fishing. Trying to get my fly underneath that log, but I don't seem to be getting any interest. Was that a fish? I don't think so. I think that was oh, that was a fish. Got him. Okay. Well, that was a lot of effort for a little fish. Been fishing for about 40 minutes. It's a pretty little cutthroat though. And that certainly is a cutthroat. Those spots are a dead giveaway. This is my first fish in New Mexico. My first Rio Grande cutthroat trout in New Mexico. Fish on. Got it. Oh, my heart is pumping. Another little mini cutthroat. From right here, that's where he was hanging out. Oh, I just spooked a big fish. The biggest fish I've seen in here yet is probably, I don't know, at least 8 inches. Got one. Got him. I think that's the biggest one yet. Certainly no trophy, but bigger. About 6 inches, maybe 6.5. See ya, buddy. I just spooked like 3 or 4 fish right in the middle here. I didn't see them before I spooked them. I'm gonna try to cast to them. They're big. And they did not move a muscle. They have definitely seen me. Oh man, I'm an idiot. There are like 4 fish right there. 2 big ones. And I just spooked him even more with that cast. Darn it. Is that a fish? No. What is this? Piece of wood. Definitely the biggest thing I've caught today. Fish on. Certainly nowhere near the size of those other ones I just saw. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. And today I'm certainly a beggar. Come on. Got one. Oh, darn it. I saw my line stop. And I didn't know if it was a fish or not, so I hesitated on setting the hook. I should have just set the hook. I had the fish on very briefly. Let's see if I can get it again. No. I'm stuck on this thing. You know what? I'm gonna break it. I broke the fly off because I want another shot at this fish in here. I can just go retrieve the fly in a minute, but that caused the little snag that it was on to dislodge and kind of fill up the middle of the creek channel, and it probably scared the fish, so that might have been counterproductive. Okay, I've got a new fly tied on. But now that snag is just like, I mean, it's right where I wanted to fish, so That's too bad. Well, the fly floated right on past where that fish was, and right where that stick is now. Darn it. And on that rather somber note of losing that fish, I think I'm going to stop. I fished for 2 hours, 2 full hours, landed 4 little fish, hooked into 1 more, and you know, scared and saw several more that I wasn't able to catch. Really interesting fishing. You know, this type of creek fishing is stressful. It's high stakes. Like, you don't get a lot of shots at the fish. The little pools are few and far between. There are high highs and there are low lows. It's fun, I enjoy it, but it's not the kind of fishing I would do every time I go out fishing. I like to catch a lot of fish sometimes, most of the time, you know. Anyway, how do you guys feel about this kind of fishing? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.